What are we doing?
Dude, I don't know.
You need a hug? All right, let's do it.
So I was doing some research,
It's like therapy for us. You're just easing into not having much time on your hands.
and I'm stoked for the journey.
Brian.
Oh, yo. What's up, everybody? We're back.
That's right. We're back.
Oh, man, I got
Energized and everything, right,
a
Brian?
little tired here. Welcome, everybody. We're back. Two dads on a mic. My name is Brian Boyd.
And you know who I am. I'm the Zach Gittler.
And we are two dads on a mic. What's up, buddy?
It's been a while.
Man, it has been a
Do we even
while.
know how long it's been right now?
Man, I think it's been almost 6 weeks.
Six?
7 weeks since our last
Feels like it was yesterday.
episode. It does.
We're just a little rusty. Got to wake up. As you can see, our eyes are a little more tired.
I didn't even shower today.
Brian's
right?
more than mine. Look a little bit more tired. And, I wonder, why are your eyes a little bit maybe tired than normal?
We'll get into that in a
yeah,
second.
right? I think we should.
We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
My hair, I actually have my hair pulled back today, because I've got a little bit more responsibility in my life.
Are you wearing parachute pants right now? Because I feel like you got the hippie status happening.
I'm not wearing any underwear.
Man bun. See, you're one step closer to living in Thailand.
I don't get it.
Have you been to Thailand? Dude, you'd fit in perfect right now.
Really?
Yeah, you got
like the V-neck and the man bun.
And then you need those like parachute poofy pants with the tie
like hammer
string.
pants.
Yeah.
No, they wear hammer pants.
They were like, poofy, comfy Zubas.
I don't know what a Zuba is.
Dude, who knows what Zubas are? My teacher used to
Raise
wear
your
those.
hand if you know what a Zuba is. Well, welcome back. We're really excited to be back, everybody. It's been way too long. We're not going to ever keep you hanging this long again. And let's just jump into it really quick to remind you a little bit of housekeeping, where to find us, how to find us. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. All the number 2 dads on a mic, also on YouTube. We're still working on that podcasting stuff.
It's happening. We want to do it right and do it correctly. And
Yeah.
we're finding out there's little kind of hurdles here and there. So
We're gonna get that.
It's
We're gonna get
happening.
that coming to you. I know I've had quite a few people reach out and say, "Hey, man, when can I get to this on the podcast? I want to listen to it on my ride, on my drive." So it's coming at you. We promise. We promise it's going to come to you very quickly. But yeah. So we just, what's been going on with you, buddy?
what's going on with me? Last 6 weeks, just busting my butt, working all the jobs that I do, DJing, selling clothing, taking care of a child, people visiting in town. I mean, it's been a fun, crazy 6 weeks packed of just awesomeness.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And then include some rain that we got in California.
Yeah,
all
finally.
the snow out happening everywhere else, man. I feel like just stop whining, California.
I know, right?
Stop.
I worry about my weeds out there.
I
And
know.
everyone else.
I'm going to create a bummer stinger. California, stop the whining.
Ooh, I like that
Yeah.
one. You live in Cali.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Hold on. I just sold 15.
Oh, by the way, we have an Amazon account now,
Yeah.
too.
They're gone. They're sold out. Never mind. They're sold out. Scratch that idea. They're sold out.
Yeah. Well, good, man. Good. That's awesome.
What has been going on in your life in the last 6 weeks?
Wow, man. It's been the most incredible journey of my life.
Yeah.
We've talked about that on previous episodes, and me and my famous tagline of
It's not going to be that
gonna
different.
change. Not gonna be that different. It's not gonna be that different. Yeah, it's been amazing, and it has been so different.
Why has it been different?
Well,
What has happened? Did you win lottery? Did you lose some weight or something? I don't know.
So if you don't follow us on
Yes, any
social media,
newcomers
you
out
wouldn't
there.
know, but we have had the birth of our very first child. Woohoo!
He is now officially a dad on the mic.
Yeah, the other dad on the mic.
Yes.
Officially, Mila Kunis.
Before it was a test phase. I wasn't sure if I was going to go forward with this project, but now that you're a dad and you saw that through, and you let Molly have the baby,
Yeah.
because you had any control,
Yeah.
you're a dad now.
Yeah, and so I think today we're just going to talk about our journeys.
Journeys.
We're just going to talk about what it was like, that experience, because we know a lot of you that are listening or watching, you've done it. You've gone through this experience that I have now been fortunate enough to in my life, and so thankful. in my life to go through. Zach's been through it, and there's probably a lot of you out there that are about ready to or thinking about going through the birth of a
So
child.
hopefully any newcomers watching in this episode, any knowledge we can offer, we always appreciate that to give. So
Yeah. So, all right. I'm just going to walk you through the experience.
yes, I would like to know, because I've told Brian, I'm like, save it for the podcast. I want to hear it live. Just don't tell me anything, even though I was like, I want to hear it. So how did it start? Sum it up in the 5-minute story. How was it?
Wow, 5 minutes. This is going to be quick. So we go to Molly's doctor appointment that she had scheduled. She was 5 days overdue. And so we had another scheduled doctor's appointment. So we go to the doctor's appointment, and she is just like dying. She's like, I'm over this. 9 months in, can't even sit down, can't sleep. Doc, we got to do it now. And so the doc says, well, you look pretty ready, but the water hadn't broke. She was only like a centimeter dilated, and she was like, okay, we'll admit you. So we literally went from the doctor's appointment. I left work, go to the doctor's appointment, thinking I was going to go back to work.
Wait, the water didn't break?
No.
Oh, wow, because I told you before, like some places they won't admit you unless the water's broke.
Yeah, water hadn't broke. And so literally the doctor's office is right next door to the hospital. So and thank goodness we had everything packed.
True, you
got it. Because we kind of had this feeling that this might happen. And so we had everything packed in the car. We took her into the hospital, got her checked in. I ran out the car, got all the stuff. That was at about 11 o'clock in the morning. By noon, the doctor came in on her lunch, and she broke Molly's water. She just said, let's do this. So she broke it, and Molly went into labor, active labor. And about 1 o'clock, they gave her the epidural. Because, man, she tried to like hold out as much as she could.
Did she not want an epidural?
No, she wanted the epidural, but she just wanted to wait until like the very last second. And I have never seen someone in so much pain in my life. And my wife, I feel like, has a high tolerance of pain. We've talked about that before. And she was just like, do it now. So did the epidural. Of course, doctor was like, sleep. Get as much sleep as you possibly can right now. And so we hung out. Family came in. Dude, they gave us this room. It was amazing. The birthing room was like a suite. It was like 500 square feet. It was huge.
Did you have to share the room at all?
No.
Whoa.
Solo.
Man.
It was awesome.
We didn't
man.
either, but like I've been told that's a chance.
Man, I would not. Molly would not have been down.
Did you have like a little bed up top, and there was a bed in the windowsill with like a padded, so you could like sleep there?
I had like a full on couch, like a big, nice long couch.
Dude, what hospital you at? Let's plug them.
It was sweet. Scripps Memorial Hospital in Encinitas.
Dude,
Dr. Roday, she's our doctor. She's awesome. She's amazing.
Ours was Ensenada PD. I'm just kidding. Tri-City, yeah.
So then about 9 o'clock comes around, and the doctors come in, and our doctor had left for the night, so she had introduced us to the new doctor that was going to be helping with the process. And they come in around 9 o'clock, and they said, okay, let's start pushing, let's start this process. So active labor now has gone for about 8 hours.
Wow.
And so she starts pushing, and she pushes and pushes and pushes. So it's been about an hour and a half that she's pushing, and nothing's really happened. She's fully dilated, but the baby's just not coming down the right way. So at 10:30, they say, we're going to stop. We're going to give you Pitocin to put you into to help with the labor, with help with the laboring. And we're going to come back in around 11:30, and we're going to start over again. So at around 11 o'clock, the nurse comes back in, and she says, well, the doc goes on call from 11 to 4.
God, there's always something.
So we're going to actually bring in a couple midwives to help with this process.
And you didn't know the midwives at all?
No, we'd never met them.
So there was no other doctors around there?
No other doctors.
We got a midwife. And we got 3. So that equals 1 doctor.
Yeah. Molly was not happy. Like,
Oh,
she
I
was
bet.
like, I don't understand. No one told me this. They came and introduced me to the new doctor who was going to help me with the delivery and blah, blah. So finally I was like, babe, like, let's just
So
trust
right off
them.
the bat, even before pregnancy, you got thrown for it's not going to go as planned.
Totally.
So it gets you ready
Totally.
for being a
I
parent.
agree.
Right
I
there.
agree. And I think that is like, and we'll get into that after
for
this.
sure.
So 11:30 comes around, and these 2 midwives come in, and they come in with 2 nurses, and They introduce themselves, and Molly's honest. She's like, I'm not excited about this. Like, they told me the doctor's going to be in here. And I've never met you two ladies. And they're like, okay, we understand. We'll walk you through. So now it becomes a whole different experience. Something I was not prepared for.
Plus, they're not. I mean, I take this back. They're not medically doctors, right? Midwives.
Are they? I think they're RNs, but I'm not. Some type of nurse.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
So don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
probably.
true.
I'd never met a midwife before. I didn't even
heard.
know what was about to happen.
I always thought midwives were helped you through it, but they were always going to be involved birthing at home in a pool.
Right.
That's what I thought midwives were.
Did you guys have a midwife in your room?
No.
Okay. So let me explain to you what happened. So then they start having her push, and it's, what did I say, 11:30. By about midnight, there still wasn't a lot of action.
And when did you go into the hospital? What time?
We went in at noon.
Noon, and it's midnight, 12
so
hours
it's midnight,
later.
Yeah. I had gotten a little sleep. She got a little sleep, so that was good. So then they start busting out the tricks. Like, the first thing they did is they got a sheet, and they tied 2 big knots on the end of each sheet. And the 2 midwives held the sheet on their end, and then Molly had to hold the sheet on her end. And then they would, pull her, and she'd be doing, pull-ups.
No way.
And, trying to, push the baby out of the stomach. And
that's crazy.
And so it would be we would go, every time she would have a contraction, she would go and she'd pull, and she'd have to hold 1, 2, for 10 seconds.
She's like, I gotta work out here. I'm already gonna be pushing a baby.
I think she was building her abs at the same time she was pushing out.
Did they throw in a dumbbell while they're at it and just might as well get this going right now? Get that baby weight off. Let's do it.
So we did that for literally an hour. Every contraction, 10 seconds just pushing. And I mean, I had to hold her one leg because she had the epidural.
Yeah.
The other midwife was holding the other leg, and then the one midwife was doing the blanket thing. And I was just like, whoa, this is nuts.
Yeah, not what you expected.
I didn't take any type of training for this.
Yeah.
I had to just kind of be her motivator. Babe, you got this, you can do it,
Yeah.
And I could just tell I didn't want her blood vessels starting to bust in her head because she was, the pushing is real, right?
Yeah, and then you add a workout in, might as well do
right.
But I'll give it to all y'all moms. That, again, just starts you off for momhood right there.
Right.
So what you're able to accomplish pre and post, just like that. I'm going to give birth while I'm at it. Let's just get a quick workout in. Yeah, come on in, come on.
So next step was about 1 o'clock rolls around, and they get this birthing bar. Have you ever seen the birthing bar?
Is it? No.
Dude. So it's this big metal bar that goes over the bed, and they hook it to each side of the bed, and then it's so she can put her feet up on it, so her feet aren't lower. So then she puts her feet up on this birthing bar.
Makes sense.
And then they use the towel again. So then we do the same routine with her feet up on this birthing bar for, oh my God, I don't know, another half an hour. And it's same thing, just So not much movement was happening still. So they don't take the birthing bar out, but they take Molly and they turn her around. They get her on all fours, and then they put her up. They lift the bed all the way up straight. They make her get over the other end of the bed, put her feet up on the birthing bars, and then they're she's reverse birthing. She's facing down, and I'm at her head, right? I'm holding her hand at her head.
I'm visualizing this right now.
Dude, it was nuts. And then it was yoga birthing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And then she was pushing reverse birth style. And finally she was just I can't do this anymore. I mean, she pushed for a good probably 20, 25 minutes that way.
Sheesh. On top of the ones before.
On top of all the ones before. So she's been at 2 hours solid.
Pushing.
2.5 hours solid
pushing and getting an ab workout.
Right. So
by the midwife
they finally flip her over, and they take the birthing bar out. They put the thingies back up, and they say, okay, we're gonna have you pushing normal. We're gonna use the blanket thing, the sheet thing again, but we're gonna bring the doc in. So they go and get the doctor, not Dr. Roday, but the other doctor who we had introduced in the earlier.
Dr. Feelgood?
Dr. Feelgood, baby. It was Motley Crue.
Yeah. He came in.
It was a Motley Crue, man. And
that's funny.
And so
other doctor came in. You're reliving it right
my
now.
God.
You're
So
reliving
then,
it right now.
It's amazing that I have this clear of a remembrance, like
True.
memory of it, because it was so clear to me. Like I remember almost every like section of it. So Doc comes in, and this dude is like cool hand Luke, man.
Nice.
I mean, he comes in, he's like putting on his doctor gear, his gloves, he's setting up his tools. I mean, you should have seen the tools, bro, that he put out on the table. I was like, it was like, have you ever seen the movie Saw?
I know it, but
Okay.
I haven't seen it. But all the torture tools.
Torture tools. I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God. Like, I hope she can't see that table right now.
True.
Because
Yeah.
she's going to freak out. Dude, the tools that he had set up, I'm just thinking the worst. So by this time, there are literally 15 people in the birthing room with us. We've got Doc. We've got his assistant. We've got our two nurses. We've got the two midwives. We've got five NICU nurses in there because Molly spiked a fever. The baby had swallowed the meconium, and there were some complications that were happening with birth. Then we've got Molly and myself, and I think we had two other nurses in there as well. But there were like 14, 15 people in the birthing room at this point. Like it just became like a party all of a sudden.
The whole hospital.
Dude, it was crazy. And so then the doctor's like, we got to get this kid out. Like, it's to the point now we got to get the kiddo out. So he takes this device. It's got this round suction cup on the end of it.
Oh, gosh.
It's got a tube on it about this long, and then it's got a bike pump. And he inserts said machine device, and he starts pumping, man.
Oh.
And I'm like, whoa, what is going on?
I've never even heard of this.
Then he just takes the device, right, and he puts it in between his hands and just starts wiggling and pulling. Molly's just pushing, and the two midwives are like, push, and we got our legs and pushing, and he's just like trying to pull. Dude, he's pulling for like, I'm like, dude, probably 5-6 minutes, just pulling. Then he stops, takes it out, grabs a new one, gets it all like cleaned, ready to go, inserts back, pumping, starts pulling again, just starts pulling.
So the piece, it suctions in on the head.
Right, so it's like a vacuum.
Man, I'd be freaking out just that. I'd be like, it's on the head?
Yeah.
You're pulling on the head?
On the head of the child, like pulling. And so Molly's pushing, and another 5 minutes, pull, and all of a sudden, dude, just the head emerges.
The crowning is crazy.
Crazy.
It's probably the first time when you're like, it's real.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa. And like, it was all like stuck together, like the ears were like plastered, and it was like, oh, the hair was all like matted down, and the face was all like, I don't even know how to like describe it was literally like this. And so, then it just, and then he drops the tool once the head like breaches, and you just see him like dive in. God. He just dives in and just like goes in and just grabs the baby, dude, and just boom, and pulls the baby out. And this is the part where it's like a blur. So pulls the baby out. The midwife is like, do you want to tell her what you guys had? And I was like, yeah. And so I look over and I see it's a girl. I look back at Molly and I'm like, babe, we had a baby girl. And Molly's just like bawling. Yeah. And they literally take the baby out. The doc grabs the snips the umbilical cord within like.
Did you want to at all?
I did, but
it was
at
just
that
crazy.
point it wasn't even an option.
Oh yeah.
So the baby was literally as purple as an eggplant, like no color other than just straight purple. And this is happening within we're talking seconds. Baby is out, umbilical cord snipped. I'm telling Molly she has. They take the baby, they set it on Molly's chest for maybe 2 seconds. Molly looks at the baby. They rush the baby over to the NICU table, which is in the room. The 5 nurses start operating on the baby because the baby is not breathing. Umbilical cord was around the neck. It had swallowed a bunch of liquid in the meconium. And so they're trying to resuscitate the baby in essence. And the doc, in the meanwhile, is trying to stitch Molly up because she tore. And he thought that he could stitch her up in there. After about 3 minutes of trying to stitch her up, and her freaking out about what's going on with the baby, keeps asking me, like, is the baby okay? Is the baby okay? And I'm like, babe, I think it's okay. Like, I'm watching them. They're working on her. And then the nurse would come over and be like, the baby's, okay, but not like, there was no like definite answer. It was a little sketchy. And then, and so then the doc looks at his nurse and goes, we need to get the operating room open and up stat. I need to get her in the operating room. I cannot stop this bleeding. It's internal, and we may have to do a blood transfusion.
He said that out loud?
Out loud.
So was it that time where you guys are just like, holy shit?
So that's when I heard the doctor say blood transfusion, that kind of freaked me out. Like, yeah. I don't really know what that entails, but it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, like, am I going to have to get on a table and transfuse blood? Do they have it? What's going on?
Right. I don't even know Molly's blood.
Were you just stripping your clothes off like, I'm ready?
I was worried about the baby.
True.
I was worried about Molly. And at this point, they literally just start unhooking all these cords for Molly because they got to wheel her out, right? And the baby's over there. There's still like 4 nurses working on the kid. And I'm like, babe, what do you want me to do? And she's like, stay here with the baby. Stay here with the baby. And the nurse was like, hey, come over here, come over to the NICU table. So I go to the NICU table. They wheel Molly out, and they have this little teeny oxygen mask, dude, that is literally this big. And they've got it over the baby's mouth. And they're like, okay, so what we're doing is we're breathing for the baby right now. She's not breathing on her own. God. And it's been like 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness!
And she's like, so you can see her chest going up and down. We got her, but we've had a lot of success getting the fluid and stuff out of her body. So this is just going to help her get into the mode of breathing. And so they're like, things are looking a lot better. You could start to see some color coming back to her, which was huge.
Well, plus we got to remind everybody, newcomers, that what happened the first time,
right.
Brian and Molly had a miscarriage. So, I mean, like, I could only imagine what's going through your brain. I mean, probably not even thinking about that, but it is affecting you of like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's been 5 minutes and my baby's not breathing. I'm like, I mean, I'd be potentially about to.
Well, and I was thinking about, no oxygen, brain defects, trauma, anything like that too. I was thinking about the development of the child.
When that's a big culprit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay.
Yeah.
I remember.
And the baby had spiked a fever because Molly had spiked a fever, so they were both on antibiotics. Like, it was crazy, man. And so after about 10 to 15 more minutes, the kiddo was breathing on her own. They had taken her into the NICU, and I had gone into the NICU, and there was only one nurse with her in there, and they were kind of like telling me all about it, and they're like, do you want to touch her? Do you want to feel her? And I was just, dude, it was.
Yeah, is that when you lost it?
Oh my gosh, man! Because I didn't have a chance to lose it. Because you had told me in your experience, right, completely different birthing
Smooth
experience.
Sailing. 45 minutes.
I remember the one thing that Zach told me that I was looking so forward to was the hour after birth.
The golden hour.
The golden hour. And I had the
golden minute.
I had the black hour.
You had the, what would they even call that? It'd be, the black minute.
Like, it was completely different experience.
Yeah.
Right? Which is crazy because it's the same exact thing, but yet a completely different experience. And, but she was beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
And dude, I was like instantly just in love. And at that point, they had come back to me. Well, not quite at that point, but it was about 20 minutes later. They came in and said Molly had been stitched up. She was okay. She was up in the hospital room, and I could go and check her out. So I left Mac down in the NICU.
Hey, sure, you gotta tell. What's the name of the baby?
Mac Alta Boyd.
There it is.
That's her. She's a boss.
Side
man.
note: how did you choose Mac?
Mac, well, there's no real story behind Mac. Molly just loved 3-letter names. Mm-hmm. So if it was a girl, it was Mac. If it was a boy, it was Hyde, Hyde.
Dang, those are tight.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the movie Mac and Me?
No.
Okay, old school Disney movie. Anyway, what happened after NICU? Baby's in there. Molly's okay.
Molly's okay. I went up to the room. She was asleep because she had just gotten out of the OR.
And
they had to put her in
a workout, baby.
Right?
Why is she sleeping?
But they had to do another some anesthesia. For the operating room, and but so she was good. So then at that point, my sister wasn't there, and by this time it's like 4:30.
So got in there 12 p.m. 12 a.m. kind of started.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4:30 in the morning.
4:30 in the morning.
Baby's
out.
16 hours in right now.
Yeah. And people had been texting like,
oh yeah,
hey, we haven't heard from you guys since like midnight. What's going on? And my sister was like, there's got to be something wrong.
You got to task someone, whoever's there, give them your phone.
There was no one there.
Oh, really? Because I'm like, you just task someone. Like, look, answer any text. I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
I think I turned mine off. I just turned it off.
Yeah.
And just waited till I turned it on and hit up some people and like, look, text people for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, and that would have been a great idea. I mean, I didn't think about my phone from about 11 p.m. till 4:30 a.m. But we had Dave and Goldie, the grandparents of Mac, had reached out, and so I just, since no one was at the hospital, it was just us because we had told everyone just go home. Like seriously, just go home. There's no reason you guys can't come in. And Molly didn't want anyone in the birthing room, just myself, and so that was the experience. Finally, when Molly woke up the next day, she still couldn't go see Mac because she still had the epidural.
Was she just like
she was bummed, but she was like super. She wasn't in a ton of pain because they were on pain medication, but she really wanted to go see the kiddo because she hadn't spent any time with Mac. So they had to wait till the epidural wore off. So it wasn't until about 8:30 the next morning that she could actually go down to the NICU and go see Mac. So, but oh man, I'll tell you what. As crazy of an experience as that was, it was amazing. I wouldn't want it any other way. And she has been just such an amazing ball.
It doesn't matter how it happens as long as it happens healthy and it's a happy baby. I mean, I've heard the stories of 2 days of labor. I mean, you guys were kind of up there with the time frame of how long you were there, and then also I've never heard the workout world. I've heard stirrups. I had to hold one of Jess's legs. Doctor did when she was pushing to kind of elevate whatever. But I've never heard bring the LA Fitness into the room and let's get some trainers going. Dude, let's do this.
It was gnarly. Did you guys use the little peanut ball thing? Did she put that between her legs for open her cervix up?
I don't think so. I mean, it happened fast, man. It was. I
can't believe it happened that fast for you guys.
In our world, is very, just got in early in the morning. Water broke, got in early in the morning. She was dilating way too fast, so they actually slowed the dilation or the birthing down or whatever, so she wouldn't feel the contractions. So during not crazy, I took an hour nap with Jess, and then we kind of woke up because the doctor's like, yeah, it might be time to wake up. I'm looking at the monitor. She's not feeling the contractions, but I'm seeing the spike level in the monitor. I'm like, you don't feel that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like a huge one. She's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well. And then the nurse came in. Nurse was like, I got to get the doctor. Baby's coming. Or I'm sorry, before that we got or she had to get an epidural. She got a first epidural and didn't work.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Second epidural worked. Doctor wasn't available. Nurse said she was about to deliver the baby. Doctor ended up coming in, and Jess only pushed for 45 minutes, and baby was right out.
God.
I didn't even realize the cutting the umbilical cord, but before they did it, the doctor almost did it, and the nurse was like, no, Dad wants to cut it. Dad wants to cut it. So she stopped that, got to cut that.
Is that cool?
Oh yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is a blur in a lot of ways, but I do remember, and I videotaped everything so I can rewatch it. But yeah, healthy baby. And it was just a smooth sailing kind of.
Well, I think that the cool thing about that we have two different stories is that if we both had a similar experience, we wouldn't really be able to let people know, dude,
True.
It could go this way or it could go this way. Because
Yep.
I really have not spoken to anybody that had major complications during the birthing, after the baby was born, anything like that we had. And I don't even think that was major, right? I'm sure there's a lot more major complications that happen during birth that I wouldn't even know how to prepare for. But hopefully we can give an insight to say dude, it could be yours or it could be ours. Just hope for the best and plan for something different.
And how many days did you stay in the hospital after?
So we were only in for 2 days.
So birth happened, and then it was.
We left Friday night.
So the next day at night. Yeah, that's what we did.
No,
too.
not the next day at night. Not Thursday.
Yeah,
we went on Wednesday. So we went on Tuesday. The baby was born Wednesday morning, and then we stayed until Friday afternoon.
Yeah. I think that's what we did too. I tried to get out the next day.
Right.
Of course, when it rains, it pours. I had 3 events I had to DJ, starting the day after the baby was born. And I'm sitting there
I can't believe you didn't cancel.
Everybody knew that the baby could come because I didn't know, and then it just happened that morning, whatever. And I got someone to cover the first one, and then the second one I went to go DJ that night, and the client's like, "Didn't you get a baby?
Why are you here?"
I'm like, yeah, she's right here.
What's
I'm
wrong
with
you, man?
I'm committed to your client.
You were not dadding.
If I would have canceled a gig, yeah, they'd understand, but long term they would hate me.
That is so not true, man.
I don't know.
You think they would hate you?
Not hate, but if they're expecting something for a big event, gala kind of party, and the key component's not there to make it happen, and someone fills in and it's not very good, I will be underlyingly always, I understand, but it's like, God, really? Baby head? And then we'll never say it.
Wow, you really think they would have felt that? Would you have felt that way? If you were that client,
no,
and your DJ was like, dude, I just had my baby yesterday. I'm gonna find someone to fill in for you. Would you honestly feel that way?
People would not express it ever, maybe to their significant other or someone else, but they would be like, yeah, it sucked that he had his baby. It would have been like jokingly, it would have been such a great party. You know, the other DJ was okay, but it's like, man, really, the baby had to come that day?
Oh, I love that.
I think that's the truth that people don't say.
Wow.
You know.
It's so it's kind of like the guy on the airplane, like when you got the baby crying and they won't say anything. It won't be like, hey, shut that baby up.
Oh, everybody in a plane's like, shut that baby up. I don't care who you are. I have a child. I'm like, but I do go because now I have a child. If I'm on a plane with someone and I like go to the bathroom, like, man, she's got like 3 kids. I will try to go like. I think I've offered to like, hey, you want me to hold your child? Or now that I have Aria, I can teach her. Like, Aria, let's go play with this kid.
Right.
Let's go see if she wants to walk up and down the aisle with you.
Right.
You know, because I know how it is. But it does. There's nothing wrong to admit that I don't want to hear a crying baby ever, and especially on a plane. I mean, it's just normal. People won't say it.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like when you become a parent.
I don't think that you're. I truly. Well, I wouldn't.
Well, okay.
I would not. And you know, if my party suffered a little bit, so be it.
Do you think you'll ever?
Because I know how cool it is to now have a kid. I don't think I would have said that before.
Do you think you will ever say to yourself that I wish I was never a parent?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. Because if you would have said, I mean, that's normal. This is what I mean. These are like normal things that I don't think people ever will. Some people won't really say. Be like, no, I love it. It's the greatest thing in the world. Every day is awesome. Like,
dude, 5 o'clock this morning, I wasn't thinking that.
Exactly, but it's normal. Like, I'd rather just have. I love it when people are honest. Just be honest because you can connect better with that, people in that way.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, that was our experience, and
awesome.
2 days in the hospital. They almost had to keep her for another 5 days in the NICU.
Jeez.
Her white blood cells weren't doing what they needed to do, but they got it under control. So at the literally, it was 2 hours prior. They were like, we're probably gonna have to keep her for another 5 days, but we're gonna check her blood again. We're gonna see if it works. If it comes out, you guys will be good to go. So they came back 2 hours later. They said everything checked out. You guys are good to go. We came home, and I'll tell you what, coming home and having family here was a blessing. I am so thankful that we had the people around that we had around my sister, the grandparents. It was so cool to not only see them like love on this kid, but they helped us out so much.
I remember I told you I was like, you're not, or we said we're like, you're not going to want anybody around, and I think it's because, wifey's here. Go ahead, grab it. I think it's because we didn't have anybody that helped us when we waited like 2 weeks after for people to come see the baby and all that stuff. So I get it. I wish we would have had help because I could have slept, but I don't know. It was pretty cool to come home and just like it hit us. It hit like a brick wall.
Yeah.
We came in, we're like, we have a child.
So you didn't have anybody at the house to help?
Zero. For like 2 weeks, we didn't have anybody.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That is very, like, that. I will never forget the first night coming out in the living room, seeing Molly on the couch with Mac.
Yeah.
And she was literally like, didn't know what to do, hair out to here, the little thing on the corner like bobbing up and down.
Yeah.
And my sister was here to help, but she was out in the other room asleep. And Molly didn't want to go wake up anybody. She didn't want to ask for help. So I was like, babe, you've got to ask for help because the kid was screaming. Ah!
I would want help now. But see, the thing is my family all had to fly here, one from Canada, one from Minnesota. So it's like we would rather have them come after the baby's born and spend that full week rather than come a week before and have to leave the day after because of money or schedule. That's the main reason why we kind of waited, So, but regardless, I mean, it all works out, and it's surreal, man.
Cool. Well, so that's our story. That's how it happened. We really just wanted to take this episode
to welcome us back to you, and I wanted to hear Brian's story. Like I said, I had him save it, so yeah, that was awesome, dude.
Cool. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for asking, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully you can take our experiences and our 2 different births, and if it's something you can relate to, hopefully it makes you laugh, or hopefully it makes you remember.
True.
Right? What you went through, and how grateful you are for your process, and if you're about to go through that process, hopefully it opens your eyes to the fact that it is not going to go the way you hope, think, or want it to go. And Molly kept saying, I had a vision. I always thought it was gonna go this way, and it's not. And I was like, babe, you can't think that way. You got to remember, it's just going to go the way it's going to go.
That's life from this day on.
Amen, brother. It's been awesome. And when I get shit on at 5 o'clock in the morning, we'll talk about that one in a little bit. You don't plan for that either.
Nope.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning into this episode number.
Okay, who cares? It is what it is. We're back. We got baby brain.
We're back.
Baby brain.
We're back. That's what happened. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Once again, my name is Brian Boyd.
And I'm Zach Gittler.
We are two dads on a mic, and peace.